Hi and welcome to another Type with Me. In this video I want to talk about Tsed exceptions. So last week we talked about how to create REST APIs with TypeScript within the great framework Ts.ED. And now I just want to talk about how to handle exceptions when something goes wrong. Alright, so first of all, I'm going for a new tab in the terminal and I'm going to install yarn at Tsed Exceptions. This is an extra package that you need to handle exceptions properly within Tsed, and then it's quite easy, right? You have, for example, an error that you can use, and that is bad request, and then you can just add something into it. So let's start with an example. So let us go to the Type with Me controller, for example, and I'm going to put the following code there. So just to have a little bit of code already available, we have here a get. And you'll see here that we have a duplicate, of course, so I'm going to say get my name. Doesn't matter, right? It's just an example. And here we can just import our bad requests from the module Tsed Exceptions that we installed, right? And we can say that, yeah, well, the ID or path parameter is not a number. Then we create an error of path requests. We say that error.setHeaders would be xheader and then a value. And then, of course, here we can also add a message and then ID is not a number onto it. And then else we can just go on with our code and we can do return of ID, for example. And I know it's a very sad and stupid thing to do, right? But if we go to type with me slash and then an ID, which is a number, then it will work, and otherwise it will not work. So let's see how this looks like. So for that, I'm just going to reload it. I think it's better to do so. Great. So let's see how this looks like within the browser. So we get here our validation error, which is, I guess, not quite the error that we would have. The value should be a number, given value. So, okay, if I just change that into 2 or 12, we get 12 back, right? So that's great, but I just want to show you a little bit more. So I want to put something in between, right. Else if and then here ID is bigger than then we gotta throw another error. Put this other error here, and I'm going to put it right here. something like that. Doesn't really matter that much. I'm going to put it right here. I'll save it. Right. Now if we execute this API, it just works. It returns 1, right? If I'm just typing here 12, then, well, we get bat request. Pick a smaller number, smaller than 10. We have a status error of 400. Our message is there, and then of course our stack. So that's how this looks like, right? So that's great. You need to know that, for example, if you don't provide the right type, what we had before, well, it's already handled by AGV, right? Another JSON validator. I also made a video about it, so if you are curious what it is, just check that out. And yeah, this is the other error that we can do. Also there, if you really want to have some kind of validation on it, it is also possible to do it with AGV as well. So let's see how to create our custom errors. So for that, I'm going to create a new folder right here. A new folder called Exceptions. In the Exceptions folder, I'm going to put ID formatter, ID format, exception, yes, something like that. And then here, ID format exception. It extends of bat request, and it has a constructor ID format is not valid, right? So for that, we can just use this one. I'm going to use it right here within our type with me controller, and here I'm going to throw it, right? I can just easily say throw new ID format exception, and then of course I need to import it. I'm just gonna save it, and if we're gonna if you're gonna go to the right page there, then you will see that we have this ID format exception, and I will show you how this looks like. All right, so this is still our previous call, and then here we get bat request ID format is not valid, and then just here bat request ID format is not valid. And then here are methods, get my name, and then of course we get certain other in our stack, right? So that's great. Our error worked. Get here ID format is not valid, right? So that's what we had there. It's also been printed out right here. We have an HTTP exception, so all great. We could have also a not found exception, right? It's also something that you could have. And then a message, and then an origin. So not found this ID, something like that. It's all possible. So let's see how this looks like within the browser. You can definitely check out what other errors there are available. Of course, this one would throw 404. So if you go here, you see that the page still works. If we go to this one, you'll see that we get this page can be found. No web page was found for the web address. Blah blah blah, HTTP error 404. So great, it works. It gives us a 404 to the client which uses our REST API. So that's also a very handy one to use, right? So I thank you for watching this great video. Give it a thumbs up if you like it, or just subscribe to my channel to get other amazing great videos. Thank you very much to see this out to the end, and see you next time.